is Thomas Aquilina, and this is my mastery vlog for screenwriting, production, and analysis.
A lot of the lessons I learned was on character development and how that character development can affect the way your dialogue is effective or not effective, and your word choice is incredibly important, especially when you begin to really format long story arcs. At first, doing a one-page seemed difficult, and then now that our final assignment was a 5 to 10 page assignment, being able to really see where the arcs change and how they change and where you can tie up loose ends begins to become very clear once you start to understand your audience and what works and what doesn't. Another interesting thing, just coming from someone who came into this program with the sole purpose of learning production and producing, I've come to have a larger appreciation for writing and a love for writing as well. I felt that I had a very niche writing style. If you look at what I read, just from the comic books to the novels, they're very, very fantasy. They're very escapist kind of tales. And then after having met all my fellow students, I've begun to try and write stories that are a lot more grounded in reality and have a much lighter spin to them, because I read some dark stuff. Another piece that I learned that I did not know about, I didn't even know existed until I took this class, was fellowships. I had no idea that fellowships were a thing. I knew of internships, I knew of mentorships, but I had never heard of fellowships before I took this class. And so for me, that's something that as someone who now likes to write and has been really engaged by writing, I find it to be something that I really look forward to applying to. So after filmmaking concepts and practices, I think a lot of us left that class feeling very much in these pockets. Those are the producers, these are the directors, these are the writers, and then these are kind of the camera ops, and then art department. And then upon coming into this class, into screenwriting, production, and analysis, I think there's going to be a handful of us that are going to be changing course on what we truly want to do, me included. When I first came into this program, I really just wanted to be a producer. I just wanted to be the guy that called the shots. And it came from a place of wanting to tell the stories that I felt weren't being told. And I didn't think that I had the skills as a writer to accurately tell these stories. Having learned the concept of character development and processing dialogue and adapting other genres to your work, trying to figure out where I want to go with my career, not only as a writer but as a producer. Realizing the fact that I can start on the page. I don't have to start in the office to tell my stories. That's kind of liberating. I gotta think differently. I gotta look at things differently. Structure was a huge thing for me, especially when I first started. I knew kind of the basics of how to write. I committed the mortal sin of starting out in Celtx, I know. But after working through 2 classes now in writing and going through the Screenwriter's Bible, researching scripts on my own. Over this last week, I've read about 5 or 6 scripts already. It's been a good way to at least see, how are the pros writing, and then how can I adapt things? What can I pick? What can I pick and choose from to adapt into how I need to be writing to be able to get my foot in the door? I think another key part for me, my takeaway from this class, has been understanding how I write. creating story maps and the dramatic curve, separating acts from one another, I had such a hard time doing when I started out. Even in this class and last class and this class. And then by this final script, something just clicked. Use a pencil and paper, and I will handwrite a short novel, basically. It's just a short story from start to finish. And then from there, I put that next to my computer, and then I type out scene by scene, and I reference back my short story, and I'll mark it, and I'll add numbers or like quotations for dialogue, and then that's how I really started to build out my stories. And it was really interesting. It was interesting finding that style and realizing that it's not a wrong way. When we first started this class, there was a big emphasis on, you know, if you're gonna make it into the industry, a lot of them are gonna look for, you know, what's your structure, you know, that you hit a story mark at a certain page. And even though I'm trying to count and look for those in my own writing, I think the strategy and the tempo of which I write is going to work for me as I move forward as an artist myself.